Meteorologist Sean Ash here on WTHR Plus. We appreciate you joining us here. We're going to look back at what's been an active April, look ahead to the early week of May, and also want to pass along some important information regarding NOAA Weather Radio here. So let's dive right into it, and we're going to show you all of the tornado warning polygons that have been issued around the region here for the month of April. This is coming from several offices, and if you're not familiar, our viewing area is served obviously by the Indianapolis office, but also Louisville issues warnings for southern Indiana. Paducah issues warnings for southwestern Indiana. Lincoln, Illinois will issue for far eastern Indiana. We've got Chicago issuing some warnings for northwest, and we've got North Webster for the northeastern part of the state, and Wilmington, Ohio covers a few counties in far eastern Indiana. These are all of those warnings. Now, a lot of, not all of, but a lot of these polygons were issued on April 2nd here, which was one of the higher tornado days in terms of volume on record here. You have to go back to March of 2023 to have a day where we had this many confirmed tornadoes, and these are the confirmations that the Weather Service office did confirm here. 22 tornadoes on that day. You can see the cluster there around southwestern Indiana, and also you can see the path, not continuous path, but certainly strong rotation that blew through from Terre Haute to near the Ohio state line and through the Indianapolis metro area. Again, in total, 22 tornadoes. The bulk of which were EF1. We did have 5 EF2 tornadoes here. So thankfully there were no significant injuries. We did have obviously quite a bit of damage. And in case you're wondering, the last time we had an EF4 tornado, you have to go back to the Henryville tornado. And last EF5 was during the super outbreak April 3rd of 1974. I'm okay if we do not add to those totals. Now, you take the 22 just from April 2nd, puts us at 45 so far through April 22nd for tornadoes. It is now record keeping for tornadoes go back to 1950. It's the earliest we've hit 40 tornadoes in a year, and now it's the earliest that we've hit 45 tornadoes in a year. And for the entire year, the state typically averages between about 25 tornadoes. So obviously we are way ahead of that pace. On April 19th, early on a Saturday morning, roughly around between 5 and 6 a.m., we had quite the windstorm that was crossing the state. Took a very similar path to April 2nd from Terre Haute all the way to near the Ohio state line through the metro area. We had wind reports, we had damage reports. And very notable that we had an 84 mile per hour wind gust that was confirmed by the National Weather Service office from the Indianapolis International Airport. That makes it the second highest gust measured there since 1984 and the highest since 85 back during another crazy April from 2006. Coincidentally, they did not find a lot of damage with that. It was very, very isolated, but radar was able to allow them to confirm it with the measuring gauge there at the airport. Now, you know it's been a very wet month here. We'll dive into these numbers. You see April 2nd, but if you recall, a couple of days after, we had that big axis of rain that set up shop here around central and southern Indiana that delivered some very massive totals here. So we've had a lot of days with rain. This is all added up here. To date, almost 7.5 inches of rain for the month of April. Our average, by the way, is just around 4.34. Last year, we also had a very active April. So time of recording, 9th wettest April. We will likely add on to that. How much was yet to be determined, but we do expect we're going to have a couple of more days of some very, at least moderate rainfall here, and something we don't need over the last 30 days. And you can see the impacts of that main rain event that we had earlier in the month. Many locations along and just south of I-70 have rainfall 200, almost 250% above normal over the last 30 days. Much lighter amounts over northwestern Indiana, but you can really see the impacts. But the entire state has picked up a lot of rain over the last 30 days. And of course, we're kind of saying goodbye to the drought conditions. These are the rain totals through the 23rd of April so far. Vincennes sticking out like a sore thumb there, almost just a little more than 8 inches. We've got several 7-inch reports, Indianapolis and Terre Haute and Evansville. But again, even in the northern part of the state, we've got some beneficial rain because, you know, we've been had some drought conditions that have been persisting, and now we have shed away from that. As we look ahead toward the latter half of the month of April and getting into the first week of May, we've got about a 40-50% chance that we're going to have above average rainfall. Not a real strong signal by any stretch here, but there's definitely going to be bouts of rain, thunderstorms, to be determined whether or not we get into severe weather as well. First week of May, again, no real terribly strong signals, but about a 40-50% chance of temperatures being on the above average side. So something that we'll monitor closely here. Of course, the severe weather season for us will continue. Better believe it. Getting into months of May and June. Of course, we can have severe weather any time of year. And speaking of severe weather, this is something very important we want you to know. There will be a NOAA weather radio outage here locally, at least during the dates of April 28th through April 30th. Possibly could go a couple of days longer than that. This is all due to a upgrade to the National Weather Service computer system. This was going to help them. It's something that's been needed. Unfortunately, this is something that cannot be put off. So it will happen during those dates, regardless if we have severe weather or not. And the National Weather Service definitely wants you to know about that. Now, please note this does not impact you getting alerts, the EAS alerts on your phone. The WTHR weather app, which we strongly suggest that you have on your phone, that is still, all of that's still going to be operational. It's just that the weather radio portion of those warnings is not going to be transmitted during this upgrade process to these important computer systems. So something that we want you to know about. Hopefully we won't have any severe weather during those dates. However, we do expect at minimum, we will have some thunderstorms on a few of those days, to be determined if they're going to be severe. But just know, we please have that free WTHR weather app on your phone. You can get warnings for your area. You can get warnings for anywhere across the U.S. We will keep you updated. We appreciate you tuning in and choosing us for your local weather info.